on. Somebody slap you and you are asking, should I slap back? You can reach back to us so that we better advise you on how to be a better law abiding person, and a better Nigerian in essence. Follow us across our social media pages. I said that before: Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube at WFM 917. Listen to us via our website, that is www.wfm917.com. And yes, also get to phone us on the program via the lines 07000 917 917 or 9155 917 917. Our text and WhatsApp line 08155 917 917 and 0703 175 6537. Those are the lines for you to get to catch us up on the program this morning. Ensure that your comments are civil, and ensure also that you're not sending repeated messages as well. That will help. Let's respond to the headlines this morning and the conversations this morning as respected newspaper review family and Nigerians that we are. So we'll start off with the headlines.
Yes. We're going to start with the Punch newspaper. 3 Lagos laborers found dead in makeshift apartment. We also have Atiku slams federal government as bandits sack Kwara village.
Wow. That's a very sad story, really. And on the Guardian newspaper, you see police arrest 23 suspects over Lekki cult killings. Passenger killed, 2 injured in Ikorodu road accident.
Next up, we have Daily Trust. Thugs disrupt Katsina elders meeting. Also, we have 2027 Women take lead, as newly registered voters hit 2.5 million.
And now we look at the Nation newspaper. More grassroots support for Tinubu's re-election in 2027. Commission, market traders pledge to battle drug abuse.
In the pen-pushing newspaper, we have Washington-bound airline returns to Lagos as passenger develops ailment. United Kingdom government warns foreign students to leave before their visa expires.
All right, and now we take a look at the Vanguard newspaper as well this morning. Abuja Kaduna Trail derailment. Federal government to release report on cause of incident in 23 days. Retirement. Court nullifies 15-year compulsory service rule for soldiers.
In the Daily Independent newspaper, we have banditry. Tinubu endorses formation of state police, equip more forest guards.
And now to the Tribune newspaper. Red Cross distributes resilience kits to flood communities in Delta 5 years after. Funding, inferior weapon, other challenges threaten Amotekun's operations.
And finally, in the headlines this morning, we have the This Day newspaper where it says 2027, the Buhari organization backs Tinubu, declares their loyalty. And Wike's team moves to wreck PDP convention, list conditions, governors threaten shut down. Those are the headlines in the newspapers this morning. You want to do well to go get you a copy or read them online and see for yourself what is happening in Nigeria.
All right, so a couple of headlines have caught my interest, for me from the headlines that we've read. And I know that we've been having discussions here on Women Radio, a couple of callers coming out to say, women have the power and the ability and the control. Well, if you look through the Daily Trust newspaper, the women are actually beginning to take up space. Yes, you'd find there 2027 women take lead as newly registered voters hit 2.5 million. Women have emerged as the largest group in the ongoing voter registration exercise ahead of the 2027 general elections, according to the Independent National Electoral Commission. INEC's latest figures show that females outnumber men among Nigerians who have so far registered both online and in person since the commencement of the continuous voter registration exercise. Now, a statement signed by the INEC's National Commissioner and Chairman of Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumekun, revealed that out of 2,532,062 citizens who pre-registered online as of August 31st, women account for 1,313,580 or 51.88%, compared with 1,218,482 men or 48.12%. So, what does that tell us? The gender gap was also reflected equally in the in-person registration, which began on August 21st. Within the first 5 days, what they saw, 72,274 citizens had either completed their pre-registration or newly registered. Of these, women again formed the majority at 36,652 or 50.71%, while men made up 35,622 or 49.29%. Now, in terms of age, the majority, 1,602,484, are between the ages of 18 and 34, while 647,528 are students. So, Olumekun had to say that the commission was encouraged by the strong turnout of women, noting that the CVR is designed to accommodate all eligible Nigerians. He even urged women who had started the process online to ensure they completed their biometrics in person without appearing. He said, without appearing physically at designated centers, the online process alone remains invalid. So it's beautiful to get to see women, beginning to, take up space. Not like they've not been doing that, but it tells you that 2027 will most likely take a different tone entirely.
And I look forward to it, actually. We've seen many time and time again, the impact of women when they're given responsibilities. I mean, take a woman who gets married. They say give a woman give her 20 naira, she'll give you a home out of it. So I really look forward to seeing what this means come 2027. Like, if more women are voting, then hopefully that they're also voting more women into power.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And just doing away with that ideology that women do not support women. No, we do. We do.
Yeah, and we're so glad to get to even announce this here on Women Radio 91.7 that women are shifting and making the mark. And this is to say also that if you're a woman out there and you have not started registering ahead of the 2027 elections, please do the needful. If you started the online process, please go physically and complete it, and don't just want to stop or finish through and place your vote. That is how you choose who to lead you. It's still Women Radio 91.7, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. And of course, the phone lines are still open for me.
Yes, they are. And the numbers to call are 07000 917 917, 09155 917 917. You can text or WhatsApp us on 08155 917 917 or 0703 1756 537.
All right, so we now will also. I want to take a look at this particular headline as well that caught my interest. It has everything to do with what the UK has said. Warning foreign students. It says leave before visa expires. That's what you find on the Punch newspaper. It says tens of thousands of international students in the United Kingdom are being directly contacted by the government with a warning. Leave the country when your visa expires or face removal. The Home Office has launched a new campaign aimed at tackling what it describes as the as an alarming rise in student visa holders attempting to stay in the UK by claiming asylum. In a first of its kind move, the government is now proactively contacting students via text and email to issue formal warnings about the consequences of overstaying.
Mm.
And this is actually coming amid a growing concern in Whitehall about students using the asylum system as a way to remain in the country after their studies. It really, really is worrisome. And I really want to read the statement. It says, if you have no legal right to remain in the UK, you must leave. If you don't, we will remove you. I'm thinking about how a lot of females will be affected by that as well,
Oh
and
yeah.
a lot parents and their children.
Yeah, but I mean, it's their law is straightforward. They're saying that if you overstay your visa,
Yeah,
just go. Which means that if you do overstay, then they have a right to, you know, throw you out of their country, putting it mildly, and just
yeah.
be like, come and be going, because you have overstayed your visa, you have overstayed your welcome. I mean, it's just pretty straightforward, regardless of who you are. But at the same time, we understand why a lot of people might want to still stay. There's been a Japa wave in the
Mm,
last 10 years, and people are using, the student route to leave the country.
mm.
So I understand when someone leaves the country, it's just like, look, I want to stay here. I do not want to return back to my country because of XYZ or ABC. And there's that thing of, oh, now I'm abroad. That's another thing.
Well,
Oh,
they would have to do it through the right processes now,
yeah,
because I mean the
absolutely.
the Home Secretary that Kuba had made it known. She said that we obviously would do our bit to support genuine refugees, but if
Mm.
nothing has changed in their country, people should not be claiming asylum at the end of a student
I
course.
mean, it's interesting that people are claiming Nigeria as the reason why they are running away when
Mm,
we are literally like these people see what's going on in the country,
mm.
and you can't say Nigeria is a war-torn zone
Country. Mm.
that you're running away from. I mean, just leave when your visa has
Mm.
expired.
Yeah. Well,
Before, rather, not when.
there before, and the crackdown is part of the broader tightening of immigration rules under
Mm.
the Labour government. Well, the phone lines are open. I would like to get your thoughts, but we'll narrow down on our major points of discussions as far as the headlines are concerned for me.
Yes, we're gonna go to the Vanguard newspaper, which says why Nigeria needs a female president. A female presidential aspirant, Ada Kate Uchegbu, has given reasons Nigeria is in need of a female president, saying the country deserves a fresh deal for it to become better. She said in an interview with journalists. She said Nigeria is at a breaking point where the country has recycled leaders over and over, and which has never worked. She noted that African women are among the capable leaders in the world and that they are no pushovers. She went on to say the challenge of women in governance is not about competence. African women are among the most capable leaders on earth. It's the structural bias in our political systems. We need political parties to actively support female candidates, not just parade them for diversity optics. The day Nigeria elects a woman president, the continent's political culture will change forever. She also said Nigeria is at a breaking point. We've recycled leaders and expected different results. It hasn't worked. I'm stepping in. That's she's saying she's stepping in because we need a generational shift in both age and mindset. Her background in journalism, business, and activism equips her to deliver a transparent people first government. This isn't about politics as usual, it's about resetting the system. Storytelling teaches you to listen, and leadership begins with listening. As a journalist, I've sat with market women, security experts, and the world leaders. I've seen how policies affect people's daily lives. Writing political thrillers and investigative pieces has also sharpened my sense of accountability because when you write the truth, you cannot hide it from yourself.
Hmm. Well, it's that time again where the conversations spring up. And even when we at Women Radio 91.7 are also saying yes, there has to be the reserved seats
Seats
for
bill.
women
Yeah,
bill.
yeah.
Yeah, it's also very important and noteworthy that these conversations happen at this time. Now, when I look back in time, um, there's actually been a gradual shift as far as women representation in power has been concerned. Interestingly, for some people who do not know, there was a woman who actually was the first in the world to be democratically elected president of a country, first woman to be democratically elected president of a country. And this was Vigdis Vinbodoto. Yes, if I got that right, Vigdis Fin Bogatortier. Actually, she was one who served as the fourth president of Iceland from 1980 to 1996. And from that moment, we've seen a wave of women representations across different countries. I mean, as of 2024 to 2025, countries with female presidents include Iceland, Mexico, Namibia, North Macedonia, the Republic of Moldova, which elected their first female president in direct elections held in 2024, as well as Honduras, Peru, Tanzania, which also have female presidents serving as the combined head of state and government. And this is noteworthy. Now, for some of these states or some countries who have not had presidents as females, we've had presidents in elective positions, in appointed positions as well. And these are statements to the fact that, yes, women are taking up space. Women are also beginning to feel the pulse of what would leadership look like if a woman is in power. And this is not to hit and say, oh, the woman has to or is doing better than the man. It is about shared responsibility. It is about knowing that this country, this society, this community belongs to us, and whoever has to take up space has to take up space and deliver with such uniqueness and with such sense of responsibility. I know that when we also have the conversations around, Nigeria not having a female president, people say, and even the US they have not had a female president, but it is that time where we say we want this to happen. And yes, we at Women Radio are saying it is a possibility. A woman can become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
It's interesting that she's coming up now, but she's not the first female that's going to come out to say, you know what, I want to run. I think a couple of years ago, this lady, Comfort Shonaya, I can't remember. Yeah, she was the presidential aspirant for COA initiative then, and I remember thinking, oh wow, a woman is in the running, to be president, and we need more audacious women, who want to come out to say, look, I want to get in the game because I believe strongly that my contributions are essential for this country's growth. Again, like I said earlier, women have proven themselves time and time again to as beacons of hope, as people who can change situations, as forward thinkers. We have them everywhere. We see them. Of course, just like there are bad eggs with men, there are also bad eggs with women. So you can't, because of the bad eggs, now say or generalize and say, oh, women, they're all bad eggs, So I believe that this is worthy of emulation. This is noteworthy, like you said, that a woman is saying, look, I want to. And what's interesting is that she's also a journalist, so she believes that she has, the she's fully equipped
with the experience,
to be able to say, look, as a journalist, I reported on this. I'm also, as a journalist, I've had to think logically and objectively about solutions, about issues. So it means that if I'm put as president, then it means that those skills will come in handy while she's administering her presidential duties. I mean, over here, we wish her all the best because we're always rooting for women. Always rooting for
Oh
women.
yes, I mean it's still early. Also, we've got there's still more people who come out and
Oh
say
yeah,
yes,
oh
this is what
yeah.
we want to do. So, just to go through the list of female African presidents so far, so good. The first person to have broken that jinx was Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the president then of Liberia. I remember being in secondary school then, and we were just always singing the song of her place as the president of Liberia. She made history as the first elected female head of state in Africa when she became the president of Liberia in 2006. And she equally played a crucial role in rebuilding Liberia after years of civil war. Her presidency focused on economic recovery, women's empowerment, even strengthening democratic institutions. She was in power from 2006 to 2018. There was also a woman named Joyce Hilda Banda, the president of Malawi, 2012 to 2014. Now, she became the president of Malawi following the sudden death of President Bingu wa Mutharika in 2012. And as the country's first female president, she implemented some economic and social reforms, including restoring relations with international donors, implementing austerity measures to stabilize the economy. Interestingly, her administration also prioritized women's rights and entrepreneurship, launching initiatives to empower women. But then, this was part of what she was able to do, Joyce Hilda Banda. Now we move away from the country, Malawi, and there was a third female president in in Africa actually, and that was in the person of Amina Gurib Fakim, the president of Mauritius. 2015 to 2018. She was the first female president of that country. And unlike other female African leaders who rose through the political ranks, Gurib Fakim was a renowned scientist and biodiversity expert before taking office. Another person who became a female president in Africa, Sahle-Work Zewde, the president of Ethiopia, 2018 to 2024. She actually made history as Ethiopia's first female president in 2018. And of course, unlike her predecessors, also, she served in a largely ceremonial role since Ethiopia operates under a parliamentary system. Oh, we will not forget the very phenomenal Samia Suluhu Hassan, the president of Tanzania from 2021 to present. She took over the office following the sudden passing of President John Magufuli. And as the first female president of Tanzania, she's actually taken significant steps to strengthen democracy, economic policies, and also international relations. And let's not forget, if you've listened to us long enough, you know that we streamed this particular entry. The entry of the first female president and leader of Namibia. This one happened in 2025, this year. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. And we did a commentary here. We streamed it live, the inauguration, her signing in. It was a beautiful one. It was really a beautiful one. She's a seasoned politician. She served in various government roles, including Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of International Relations. And you know what? I hope that the seventh person can be a Nigerian.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
Don't forget, it's still Women Radio 91.7, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. 2 minutes to 8, and the phone lines are open. We want to get to hear from you. 07000 917 917 or 9155 917 917. Our text and WhatsApp line 08155 917 917 or 703 175 6537. You know what? When I was reading through, something just came to mind. I'm just thinking to myself, those parents that when their children say, "I want to become the president of Nigeria," they say, "No, don't, please don't discourage your
No,
daughters."
please don't. Please don't. Please don't. And speaking of our female presidents and leaders, one of the things that I've noticed that they face, the challenges that they face, gender
Mm.
bias,
Mm.
political instability. There's so much allegations of corruption toward
Mm.
them and limited political support. One thing I've noticed with the men is once something's happening, they band together. So this is like a public service announcement that, yes, again, like I mentioned earlier, there are bad eggs and everything, but let's try as much as possible to band together to support women. Gender bias is something that is systemic, is
It's
structural,
systemic.
it's
Across different sectors where you see that it's male dominated,
yeah.
you'd most likely get to see issues of gender bias. And that's why we consistently say as well that it takes a female being in a space to understand what it means to go through experiences within that space as a female, to be able to say this is what a female experiences, and these are the policies I must put in place.
Hmm.
If you're not a female, you wouldn't know that, oh, when you step into an office you should have pad around just in case. Let's take this call here. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, good morning.
Good
Good
morning to you.
morning to you.
This is Evangelist in calling from mobile. Yes, I've been listening to you, female president. You are in need of both female, male, and with track record, with certain qualities. The women of youth with track record got very a true Nigeria tried and tested. For example, there are some women that are criminal and are criminal. But people like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, remember Akure, and that's another woman to go across to our work. That's why I say you need a woman with different, with trust or trying to tell who can move this issue forward. We don't treat men and female and youth. So what we are looking for, because Nigeria have all it takes to be great. But again, where we are today and not where we are supposed to be. And we also, any little place we have to see, we should always do our best to have track record so people can fully recommend us. It's worth it this money. So the day we leave this, or in Nigeria today, can do anything and get away. But if you get away, because you can drive yourself to Nigeria, still am I, are you corrupt? Because sometimes when a person like this from the president, how is sending back at all? So before you call somebody thief, you ask yourself, are you not a thief? If you can, let me tell you, if you all can do the right thing anywhere we are, the police did their job, army did their job, the civil servant did their job, everybody did, the jail will be great. Sometimes we that are accusing other than if we get there, we worse than them. So we should check ourselves also. So let us always do what is right. Don't say that one day go back to God and give back out. And that is where you can spend eternity. You brought nothing and taken nothing. God bless you, God bless you. Nigeria will be great today. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you
for
so
calling,
much.
Evangelist Dixon. Just to let you know, we are live on our social media platforms on Facebook, on X, on Instagram, also
And
on
YouTube.
YouTube as well. We've got a couple of messages that have come in this morning.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It says this one here, I want to check the messages on Facebook. Says grassroots support Tinubu's re-election in 2027. I disagree. That's what he says. We have here also Ozo Francis Omaga Namani, who has said here, government says government should collaborate to tackle the spate of kidnapping, banditry, and killings in some parts of the country. A stitch in time saves nine. May God help us. Dr. Mrs. Ma Olebara from Owerri says, I call on Nigerian citizens to bring pressure on President Tinubu, the National Assembly, state governors, and state assemblies to immediately cut down the cost of governance in Nigeria, set up a credible economic team devoid of political affiliation, reappraise and reorder its programs and projects, and address unemployment and poor level of infrastructure. The economic team should also dispassionately examine the unbelievable spendings and the so-called palliatives SUVs and empowerment, fretting away of our Commonwealth, and the war against corruption. All right. Thank you very much for your comments this morning. Let's take a look at the messages.
Yes, we have this one that says, "Beautiful morning to everyone in the studio. Can you see the set of people giving PDP conditions? Set of people that have lost control of their states, except the controversial Wike is still holding River State for Tinubu." He also goes on to say, "Your president saying that they have stabilized the economy, no need to borrow anymore. Yes, the economy is actually stabilized in his pocket, not on the citizens. What a confused group of people called rulers and not leaders. APC will come to an end come 2027 by the grace of God. The voice of men are the voice of God." Mayor from Ikotun Ege. Thank you so much, Mayor, for your message. Next up, we have, "The truth is that of official PDP Nigeria lacks the balls to call Wike to order, let alone sanctioning him. He's now bigger than the party. I challenge them to do something different this time. Let's see what will happen. They can only bark like dogs, but once Wike coughs, they know." Thank you, Olusoga Ajayi from Odonla Ikorodu, for your message. Next up, we have, "Top of the morning to you in studio. Let me use this medium to thank Mr. President for working hard to meet the revenue target for this year without borrowing money from local banks. This is positive development, which many people do not or will not acknowledge. And for CPC block to visit and thank Mr. President, this shows people that they are very much with Ashiwaju. This is to show that 2027, no vacancy in Aso Rock. And for PDP, another crisis is looming without executives in place. In places like Ekiti and Anambra State, it will be difficult for PDP to hold free national convention without litigation." He also goes on to say the PDP crisis will never end because they lack leaders with good ideas. For those who say PDP should suspend Wike, will it create more? Suspending Wike will create more crisis because Wike has more people in the National Assembly and in some states' assembly. It will be very difficult for PDP to recover if they do suspend Wike, because he has more followers in PDP than all these people who want Wike to be suspended from the party. And it's numbers of the people that make a party to be robust and attractive. Thank you so much, Additional Wasu in Ikorodu. Good morning.
All right, I'll take that one there.
Okay.
Okay, there's another message here. It says, "Good morning, Women Radio 91.7, presenters Miracle Phillip, for me and parliamentarians. Suffice to say that the moment I didn't get that statement right. Maybe you were trying to, I can't assume, but it says it becomes an apology for not thinking accurately to the end of the sentence, underscoring the Frankenstein monsters in the PDP as a political party. Query: had PDP franchised its political party to Nyesom Wike, FCT minister and emperor that is threatening to stop this PDP convention slated 15th to 16th 2025 in Ibadan? While the men with balls in the thigh to muscle Nyesom Wike, FCT minister and emperor to a vegetative submission, as Nigerians' problems are more than Nyesom Wike and his tantrums, Allah prating and rantings. On insecurity in the land, killings everywhere by Boko Haram, romantically called bandits, and terrorists is stealing the storm of insecurity difficult for this government. The enemies of Nigeria sponsoring insecurity are in the government, as recently made known by El Rufai, former Kaduna state governor. Or must these de facto governments of terrorists, Lakurawa and newest Mahmouda et al., continue manning ungoverned spaces as the jury federal government look with arms akimbo as wailings and humongous harvests of debts rent the land? God Almighty forbid. Keep the messages coming through.
All right, we have this one that says, "Good morning, WFM. Do we need a female president? Yes, not because of trying new things or men, but because of competency. Women are procedures there are procedures. If you want to contest, you buy tickets and play the game. You can't feel like you deserve something because you are a woman and expect men who have actively paid the price to just fold their hands and look at you. Women are not givers, in my opinion. You see that saying, empower a woman and empower a nation, is a lie. Look at all the women you called. They only empowered women and girls and not push the other gender. Don't forget the bad eggs. Patricia Ete, Alison Madueke, Betty Edo. These women stole more money than men. This is from Mordi Chibuzo, overcomer from Ogun State. He says, women don't support each other, so why should I?
Well, thank you so much for your thoughts this morning, Modu, and of course your opinion. If you've listened also long enough, you'd realize that what we push forward right here on Women Radio is not just about having a female president, but also having a woman who's competent, and that is possible. If you read through the profiles of what I shared, the female presidents in Africa, you'd see that their profiles are thick. They've had experiences, and that's also what we want to see. And we are saying this morning that we have women who are competent, who can deliver.
And that's why I said the same way there are bad eggs with men, there are actually bad eggs with women.
Exactly.
So you can't say, because a few women did something wrong,
then the entirety of women folk are bad and not competent to be female president. Yes.
So then I also want to correct something that he said, that he says women only empower women and girls. Well, if you really look at the demography or even look at your family, your family, you realize that there's more empowerment given to the boys, your little boys, than the girls. So if we are saying we want to empower girls, it's because we're trying to give them the same equal opportunities that men get.
All right, let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Dio from Lagos.
Okay, go ahead, Dio. Let's have your thoughts this morning.
Now, you guys wrongly accuse me of always repeating my messages.
Yes, please.
It's wrong.
How is it wrong?
It's wrong to say. The thing is this: I'm making references to what your co-presenter said the other day, that I was ignorant of this government doing student loans. Now, what I'm saying in essence is this: if you want to help Nigerian students or Nigerian children, you don't need to look at the policy of that subsidy removal, increasing school fees unnecessarily, and all those things like that. It affected many students and many parents of today that they could not send their children to school. That it affected them in their WAEC and in their JAMB dating. That was what I was saying. And also, increasing school fees, it affected many people that in such a way that it affected many people today. Now, if you want to help people, all this removal of subsidy money, unnecessary traveling, and wasteful dating on billions on renovations and every other wastages that they are doing with their luxury lifestyle. All this money can be gathered and funded on education. We can supposed to have free education for students today. That is how to develop education. That is how to build literacy in schools. Not this student loan. This student loan is like taking something from people and you are giving and you are saying you are giving back. No, that is not how to help the situation at hand. You have many out of school children in Nigeria. It's because of all this increase of school fees and every other thing that you put in place. So that is not how to develop education. Look at foreign schools. Look at of countries all around the world. They are developing education. They are building literacy. They are look at now ASU and ASU. They are still going to strike because of all these things. And that's what I was trying to say. And your and this thing he said telling me that I'm illiterate or ignorant. No, by the grace of God, I'm an architect.
All right.
So I'm just trying to give that point.
Okay.
And that was what I was saying in my text, and you guys refuse to read it. It's not fair. It's not fair.
All right.
I'm not saying the basic truth.
Hi, Dio, you've spoken well. I thank you so much for calling on the program.
I'm just saying, I'm making my point. Just
yes, and I understand
that I'm building. I'm just out to develop the whole thing,
absolutely.
The whole school, the whole education sector and every other sector.
All right.
That's what I was saying.
All right. Thank you so much for calling this morning. Thank you so much for calling this morning. Of course, we've received your thoughts and we definitely appreciate that. We know that the newspaper review has a different set of people and different individuals with diverse opinions, and we appreciate your diverse opinions on the program. All right, let's take a look at some more messages. Yep, we have a couple of messages that are coming through on Facebook. So if you're not following us on Facebook, it's a problem. Yeah, we have this one here saying, John Ogede says, women are currently leading, good and fine, but the big question is, will the INEC do the right thing when the results will be out?
That's a good question.
Yeah, we have also Ozo Francis Omaga Namani saying PDP should do everything possible to will Mr. Peter Obi to run for presidency under the umbrella of the party come 2027. He has all it takes to transform this country. So these are the headlines, right? These are the messages that we have received right here on our Facebook page, but you can do well to follow us here on the program and keep your messages coming through as well. This is Women Radio 91.7, 16 minutes past 6. I was looking at the 6 in the time. Okay, 16 minutes past 8, and let's take a look at this other headline.
Yes, this one is from the Punch newspaper. Motorcycle snatcher set ablaze in Benue State. A suspected motorcycle snatcher was on Tuesday morning set ablaze by a mob along the Ibrahim Kashim Road in Makurdi, the capital city of Benue. An eyewitness who simply identified himself as Andrew Tegur had told our correspondent that 2 passengers had hired a motorcyclist known as Okada Rider to take them to the railway quarters area within Makurdi. Unknown to the motorcyclist, a gang member had stationed himself at the spot where the passengers decided to alight. The eyewitness said that as soon as the 2 passengers alighted, the other gang member, who had been waiting for his accomplices, approached the motorcyclist pretending to pay for the fare, but rather brought out scissors and stabbed the rider several times. Tegus said that as soon as the motorcyclist fell down and shouted for help, the 3 members jumped on the motorcycle to zoom off. Unfortunately, as they tried to zoom off, the last person on the motorcycle fell down and people pounced on him and dragged him to the main road where they set him on fire. As of the time our correspondent got to the scene, some staff members of the Benue State Sanitation Agency, in company with the policemen, were seen evacuating the remains of the suspected bike snatcher. When contacted, the police public relations officer for Benue State Command, DSP Udeme Edet, confirmed the incident and promised to get back with full details. However, she has yet to get back as of the time of filing this report. Miracle. Jungle justice, mob justice is something that has plagued us since time immemorial, to be honest. Unfortunately, 10 years on, we remember the Alu 4 incident that had happened in Port Harcourt, I think 2012, and
it was made into a movie too.
Yes, and it's such a sad situation because those boys just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And in this situation now, we're seeing this is not even the first story we've seen this week or even this month or even this year. What do we need to do? Because it's almost like it's your word against mine. The moment I open my mouth and say, do you know what? Okay, I'm not going to use your name. I was going to say Miracle. No, somebody person A stole my bag, meanwhile it was somebody else. Like nobody is really thinking about whether to really investigate if person A was one who stole the bag, or it's just, oh, so it could be that if I am meaning you now, if I get you for mind, I can just say, oh, you stole my bag, oh, you stole my child, and then next thing, jungle justice, and many a innocent men or women, man or woman, have been, killed due to this. What would you say could be this? Is this a solution to this issue?
Well, even before we go to the solution, we must also understand why these things have happened over time. We have the word jungle justice. Some people know it to be mob justice, where a crowd would take the law into their hands by punishing the suspected criminal without even giving them the right to defend themselves via judicial proceedings. And we've seen these things happen over time. Now, most times also, we've seen these things happen in such remote areas where they feel that the law enforcement agencies are far away from them. So often it also is a result of, we don't think that we trust the enforcement agencies or the law to be able to mitigate the crime rate, and also to serve justice to those who are wrong. And then they feel, oh, let's take laws into our hands. So where law enforcement agents are seen to be restricted only to capital cities or the various states or in the nation's capital, people would just tend to have a sense that the government is far away and they can do whatever they like. Now, that's on one hand. The other hand would also be to look at it from the angle of, we are all humans first. And while you will not want such case scenario to happen to you, because if we sit down to think, so I'm not trying to justify whatever those people do, as far as those who steal, those who engage in all those criminal activities, not to justify that what they've done or what they do is right, but also the fact that, yeah, you getting to capture them means that you should keep them secluded, keep them and hand them over to the right authorities.
Yes,
that is what should be done. That is the better way to approach this. And over time, we've also seen, I raised the first point about the fact that people feel, oh, the law enforcement agencies are away from them. So that's why they've had what we call vigilante groups as well, who've been created also to ensure that, there's a bit of justice. But at the end of the day, deciding to kill someone is not in your power and should not be in your power. Deciding to serve justice should not be in your power. It should be left to the police to handle. And it also speaks largely as well to, and that's me putting out now to the law enforcement agencies. Have you made yourselves trusted enough that people trust you to deliver such ills? Are you going to be the kind of people that, and have you been in such a way that it's built a public mistrust that people now know, oh, if I take somebody, one thief to the person, the thief will now bring out 50,000 naira and give them, they will release the person. Do you get? So these are the issues. But at the end of the day, it is wrong. It is wrong. The reason behind actually taking the law into your hand, yes, we cannot sweep it off and under the carpet, but it is wrong for you to actually do that. You do not have the power to do that. So what should we do instead? We need to begin to educate ourselves better. There are people who do not understand the proceedings of take this to law enforcement agencies. So we need to send this out and across. And I know some people say, well, it really does not concern me. Even if they are doing anything to any mob, it's none of my business. But Fumi stated it, and there have been so many other cases where people have been wrongly accused. It just takes somebody that does not like your face, does not like your complexion, to raise an alarm in the middle of the market, and everybody just lynches you right there, and you're gone. And this is something you don't want to happen to you, and you cannot even say you want it to happen to your family member. You cannot even say you don't want it to happen to anybody that you know. Anything could happen. Nobody prays to wake up in the morning and be at the wrong place at the wrong time. But if we better educate on ourselves on these sorts of circumstances, then we'll be able to even make our societies a much better place. I was watching a video where a lady was talking about the fact that and this was not even a jungle justice situation. It was a case of a man was trying to reach out to her. She was ignoring the man. And the man came down from the car and started shouting and saying that his girlfriend does not want to enter the car. She does not know this man from Adam.
anywhere.
And he started shouting that she doesn't want to enter the car, that he's paid her school fees, he trained her, he took care of her. And this lady was confused. And people all around now started saying, girl, enter the car.
Yeah.
Go and settle your issue.
Yeah.
So this is just, we don't know if the person was a kidnapper or something, but it's a clear case of what also could happen. The lady said she was so scared. It took one person there
say no.
to just tell her, take your phone and run.
And
They said the man hit her, threw her phone on the floor. It was causing a commotion in a major market, and she was just confused. Now, you don't want this to happen to you. And you don't want it to be a clear case of, and even if someone actually does commit a crime, get them arrested and let them pay for it. But they don't need to pay with their lives.
Yes, as Miracle has said, it's important that we report to the right authorities, no matter how you personally feel about them. They have been put in that position of authority for a reason. So let's respect, the laws of the land. Let's respect the rule of law. With that being said, we have come to the end of the newspaper review segment of the Full Breakfast Show. Actually, we've come to the end of the Full Breakfast Show this morning. And Miracle, it was such a pleasure doing this with you.
Yes, it was.
Tackling, Miracle decided to flex her brains this morning since we didn't have an analyst. So with that being said, remember to always do the right thing. At 9 o'clock is 9 o'clock news, and at 9:05 is Herland. My name is Fumi Bangara.
And I am Miracle Phillip, wishing you a wonderful day ahead.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.